ये रे कनेक्ट है
ओके ओके सर स्टार्ट करूँ
हाँ सर
ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ମୋର ଆସିଗଲା ନହେଲେ ମୋ ନେଟ୍ କନେକ୍ସନ କଟିଯିବ ପୁଣି ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବି ତ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
now this is welcome to all of you
am I audible
बहुत फोन कौन आସୁଛି actually am I audible to all of you students
Yes, sir, you are audible.
now this is the your paper this is MPC-001 and this is the first unit of MPC-001 and the unit is cognitive psychology, learning and memory. As you know, this is a counseling class. I will be just giving you some ideas about the important things in cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology as related to learning and memory. Because we have to cover up this unit today. That is the kind of approach that we have to take. Now, cognitive psychology, what is that? And what we need to know about cognitive psychology. That is the first thing that I am doing. Cognitive psychology is as you know, the human behavior is managed, controlled, influenced by three fundamental or basic domains of human psychology. One is cognition, second one is the cognitive, cognitive, and affective. And cognitive aspects of human psyche is the infrastructure, is the foundation on which the human behavior is built on. Means whatever kinds of infrastructure we are developing through different psychological processes, we call them as cognitive psychology. And largely, cognitive psychology is the process of building up your mental characteristics from the informational input that you are given to, that is given to you. जो इनफॉरमेशन आम एनवायरमेंट आणुचु से इनफॉरमेशन को लेकिन आम केमिति सिस्टमटाइज करूचु एंड हाउ डू वी कीप those information so that we will be using them for our different kinds of activity. That is what is cognitive psychology. And during these last several years, cognitive psychology has expanded itself into a very significant new branch, elaborate branch of psychology, having lot of things to deal with the human cognition. बहुत जिनसे cognitive psychology गत half century भितर has grown up into an independent psychological science, independent branch or field of psychology. Cognitive, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cognitive, let me go one by one of this unit first. What is cognitive psychology and what are the domains of cognitive psychology? Cognitive psychology है आमे एनवायरमेंट रू पाउथिबा इंफॉर्मेशन को स्ट्रक्चर करी बिल्ड करी आम भितरे साइट की रखी फाइनली वी report them, use them in our behavior. That is what is cognitive psychology. And it begins with attention. You attend to environmental stimuli. Things, environmental stimuli means things, those are happening all around you. तम चारिपटे जो जो घटना घटुची जहाँ भी घटुची whatever is happening around you, you receive them through your sense organs as part of the information. And then those information are passed on to a psychological processing system in you, and that is your attention process. And you do certain things, certain kinds of things, filtering of those information, because all those information are not usually required for you. You don't need all of them at a time, all of them at the same time, or during the time that you are getting that information. What you do, you receive them, and then there is a kind of processing in your attention process which filters those information and brings them to your part of processing called memory processing. And you receive that part of the information as your sensory memory. And when you receive those information in your sensory memory, again, there is some kind of I'm elaborating the kinds of processes. Therefore, first, in the cognitive psychology, you need to understand the processes of attention, human attention. How, in what way it is useful as a process of attention. Then comes your filtering process, processes of perception. Then comes your process of memorizing, learning, memorizing, and then retaining it in your system. And then comes your using it, using those kind of things in your uh, processes of thinking. এই যে বার্তারে তুমি যাব one by one, step by step, and that is the entire process from the beginning to the end. It involves your cognitive processing, or you can call it the cognitive psychology is the part of all those processes. And what at present, what are the different domains of cognitive psychology? As I told you, cognitive psychology includes your processing of attention, part of the attention. Then, once the attention is over, the next is how those information are represented in your system. That is how you deal with those information and what part of your system is used to deal with those information, and that is your consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is also a part of your cognitive processing to help you in the representation of knowledge. And then comes your memory. Finally, you prepare some sort of structure, some sort of output, product, and you keep them in your memory system. That is, up to that, it is a part of the processing. And then, in memory, you put different your information in different formats. It is image, it is language, it is what different forms of representations are there. Memory is just not one form of representation. Those are also included as part of study in cognitive psychology. You must learn also imagery, language in all those things. And then your information processing is not the same. Remember that I am telling you about the domains of cognitive psychology, that is 1.4 in your syllabus. Beginning with attention, as you grow up, how you grow up, you represent them in your system by through a processing, concrete processing approach, constructive approach. Then you use your consciousness to keep them in your system. And then as memory involves different kinds of preservation of things in different formats. And like that, language, all these things are included in cognitive psychology. Study of cognitive psychology means.
They're not audible properly, sir.
Tell me.
They're not audible properly, up and down also, sir.
What about? What about?
Sir, up and down hoji, sir. Subha jauni properly, sir.
Sound up and down hoji. আচ্ছা ଏବେ ଆସିଲା ମୁଁ ଆଉଥରେ
Yes, sir.
ଏବେ ଆସିଲା
ଆଜ୍ଞା sir.
ଆସିଲା, sir.
ସେ ଥରେ ବନ୍ଦ
ଆଜ୍ଞା, sir, ଆସିଲା.
ଟିକେ ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ବନ୍ଦ କରିକି ଆଉଥରେ ଦେଇଥିଲା ତେଣୁ then developmental psychology is also a part of the cognitive science. Cognitive psychology has been included because now the question is, even though developmental psychology is a different discipline in psychology, different branch of psychology, why it has become it has been included as a part of cognitive psychology? It is because the process of growth of human cognition is developmental in nature. As you grow up, your processing style, your processing system, information processing gets different characteristics. That is why one needs to study the developmental processes of human being in order to exactly understand what is and how the cognitive processes are going on in human beings. I mean, the pila to development ଆମେ ନ ଜାଣିବୁ କ'ଣ ଘଟୁଛି, କେମିତି ପିଲା ବଢୁଛି, କେମିତି ଚାଲୁଛି, ତାହେଲେ ଆମକୁ cognitive psychology ବୁଝିବା ପାଇଁ ଠିକ ହବନି. ସେଥିପାଇଁ developmental psychology is also included as a part of cognitive psychology. And then artificial intelligence is also another. Nowadays, we largely depend on the kinds of things in our life is largely artificial intelligence. Your computer, your
net system, everything is a kind of artificial intelligence. And that is also included in the modern cognitive psychology. Study of
सर साउंड बहुत कम
artificial
ହେଇଗଲା
intelligence means the kind of activities that human intelligence is capable of doing, those being carried out or done by machines. That is what is artificial intelligence. Whatever the human being is capable of doing by its intelligence,
whether machine can do it or not. That kind of study is artificial intelligence. And cognitive neuroscience is a very modern and recent development. Means human neurological system is also playing the most significant and important part in the information processing. It is like the hardware system of the computer in the human system. And therefore, one must understand the cognitive neuroscience in order to appropriately understand the cognitive processes. These are some of the domains. And as domain, cognitive neuroscience, perception, attention, pattern recognition, consciousness, memory, representation of knowledge, these things are included in the study of cognitive psychology. I think you understand. I am explaining you what is cognitive psychology and how cognitive psychology includes a large field of knowledge, beginning from neuroscience, artificial intelligence, to language, imagery, developmental psychology, and finally thinking, decision making. All these things are included in cognitive psychology. And by saying this, I impress on you the extensivity of the study of cognitive psychology, or the area in which cognitive psychology has spread itself as its fields of knowledge, or as its fields of study. And then next thing that I am to tell you about, key issues in the study of cognitive psychology. Important ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକ ମୁଁ କହିଯାଉଛି, key issues in the study of cognitive psychology. What are those key issues? One, nature versus nurture. Means it's a controversial issue. It's not only controversial, it's a very important issue for anything in psychology or related to human beings. Means to what extent a human being is given the benefit of nature, heredity, and nurture, development. Means how much of a cognitive...
Sir, not audible properly, sir. Volume is going up and down, sir.
No.
Sir, volume is going up and down, sir. Not audible properly, sir.
Volume तमर full अच्छी. अच्छा, मैं देखूची.
सर हमको सुना होची मे भी तांकर किछि नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम थाई पारे.
हां तमे टिके निजर देखो अन्य मानको सुना कहा को आउ सुना जाउनी केते जण को.
ओके सर.
तमे टिके तमर टिके चेंज कर देखलो. हमें भी तमर
लॉग
भी
आउट यस सर प्रॉपर्ली सुबा जाउची. पवनिश लॉग आउट करके आउ थर लॉग आउट करो.
हां लॉग आउट करो मैं साउंड पे आउ थरे साउंड को बंद करके आउ थरे साउंड टा दियो.
अच्छा.
अच्छा मु फास्ट एरे तुमको कहली जे वर्तमान रो कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी रो डोमेन्स कोन को एरिया रे कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी हैज स्प्रेड इटसेल्फ. बहुत एरिया को कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी इंक्लूड करूची. बहुत एरिया जोटा के मु कहली तमरो जो मटेरियल दिया है ता भीतर मध्ये गोटे चित्र रे तुमको देखै दिया जी. These are the areas of study or areas of research in cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology during the last 50 years have spreaded into a lot of important areas of human psychology. जो थे कि perception, attention, thinking, memory, artificial intelligence, cognitive neuroscience, so everything is included. Then I come to the key issues in the study of cognitive psychology. Important issues कौन वर्तमान गोटे है नेचर एंड नर्चर इश्यू. एटा केवल कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी टाइम हो, इट इज एन इश्यू रिलेटिंग टू ऑल ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी. मनीष केते दूर जेनेटिकली डिटरमिन्ड, केते दूर developmentally determined, or how much of human development is determined, जोटा को हमें कहूचु जे heredity environment controversy, whether we are largely controlled by our heredity or largely controlled by our environment, and how we are. That is always called the nature nurture controversy. And in every field of psychology, that is, this controversy is there. And relating to cognitive psychology, this controversy is also there. There are some part. You can imagine it like the basic hardware system. If your hardware system is not foolproof, you will not be able to make all kinds of software operations. That is the kind of thing. Some people are cognitively advanced. Some people for development of advanced cognitive development, genetically disposed. किसी लोगों जेनेटिक अच्छी जो मैंने आम जहाँ को इंटेलिजेंट बोली कॉमनली कहूँ से माने जेनेटिकली इंटेलिजेंट से माने बेटर कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट हबो आउ किछि से माने को अपेक्षा पुअर हबो ए भलिया घटना घटिबो तेणु नेचर नर्चर कंट्रोवर्सी इज नॉट ए सॉल्वेबल कंट्रोवर्सी बट इट इज एन इश्यू ऑलवेज इन एनी स्टडी ऑफ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी सोसाइटी सब नेचर नर्चर कंट्रोवर्सी रहिबो and that you have to deal with. बुझेला ना नहीं. And second controversy is rationalism versus empiricism. Rationalism means thing that we prove by our logic of rational thinking. जोटा कि आगुरु हमर फिलोसोफर माने जो साइंस मान जो प्रकार नॉलेज बेस्ड को डेवलप करथिले बाय रैशनल थिंकिंग बाय रैशनलिज्म. But empiricism, जे पर्यंत आमे परीक्षा करी न देखिचो से पर्यंत आमे we do not accept it. We do not say that this is what is the truth. That is the controversy. Whether we should go by development, understanding cognitive psychology by a process of rationalism or by a process of empiricism. Empiricism means experimentation. Laboratory conditions रे आमे experiment करिबु. This is what is the truth.
आमे जेते बुझिले मध्य जेते ये रे जानिले मध्य आमे laboratory condition रे नहल न
कले आमे हला से मझे मझे फोन पळे आउची कटि जाउन तो मोर मोनालिसा
साउंड कम हे जाउ
नो सर टिके कम साउंड हे जाउ ना तो
हां से फोन उडा पळे आउची तो बहुत ना rationalism हला to gain knowledge by rational and logical thinking, to prove something as true by logical thinking. बुझी पाछन ना. Empiricism हला to get something proved in the laboratory, and both the processes are important requirements for the development of a cognitive science, understanding cognitive science. खाली cognitive science में in order to understand the human being, everything is necessary. Rationalism brings the foundation, and empiricism helps us to grow above that. Basic foundation, basic thinking comes. So this controversy is also there. And then structure versus process controversy. Now, whenever you are trying to understand, supposing the process of memory, one thing is that memory is being created in your system as a product. Your long-term memory holds several things in you, lot of things in you, as this product, and you must know what is that product, what is that structure, what is the structure of the language in your long-term memory, what is the structure of the of your friend's face in your memory. Those are the kinds of what are the images in your memory. But on the other side of it, by just knowing the structure, it is not all the everything can be solved about knowing, understanding cognitive psychology. You must know the processes, how these structures develop, how they grow up, how they change, what happens to them in different conditions. The processes of change is also important. Therefore, cognitive psychology not only deals with understanding the human structures of human mind, human psyche, human cognition, but also the processes that involve the human cognition. अच्छा तम भितरे नॉन ओडिया किए अछंती कि बेसी जे माने ओडिया बुझी परिबे एनीबॉडी केई ना जब दरकार पड़िबो जोठी टिके बुझेबार दरकार पड़िबो आई कैन यूज ओडिया लैंग्वेज दैट इज व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग नाउ स्ट्रक्चर वर्सेस प्रोसेसेस दिस इज आल्सो I told you from the beginning, it's like issues, not controversies. I am using word controversy because to highlight the issue, characteristic of the issue. Then these are some of the issues. Structures are important. We must know what is an image in mind. We must know what is a concept in mind, and at the same time we must know how a concept is formed in the child's brain, how the child understands a particular concept and how he develops process and then comes domain generality versus domain specificity. Now, domain generality versus domain specificity. It is also an issue in cognitive science. What is domain generality? Supposing I bhabibu that by learning Odia language, we are learning Odia language, and English language, we are learning English language. These are two different systems in our memory, in our cognition. Odia is one system, English is another system. But in fact, there is a coordination. In fact, there is a mixing of kind of thing. That is, we can call that they are coordinated, they are compounded language. I mean, bilingualism, there are some people who are highly compounded, means they are as much fluent, as much equal in English and Odia both languages. Means there is this is not domain specificity. There are certain things they go beyond their field of operation. They have a general characteristics. Some kind of a cognitive characteristics are such that they go beyond. Some of your knowledge in psychology will help you to solve your problems of life also. Practical problems of life means you apply them. That is what is the kind of applied aspect of any science. And cognitive science has also that applied aspect. Even we have a kind of therapy called cognitive therapy. By using cognitive therapy, we help mental problems, we help mental health issues of people. Generality versus specificity. The knowledge is not, or cognitive characteristics are not just specific to the events that you have gathered. School le jo jinsa patha padicha seta school level pe kamo dela, college re kamo dabani ekatha nuhe, university re kamo dabani ekatha nuhe. They grow up into a general character. Some cognitive characteristics are specific. They are very specific to some kind of thing. But at the same time, there are also generality about your cognitive characteristics. You built up some kind of system which can be used. Money is some kind of system which helps you to purchase everything in your life. That is also some kind of cognitive characteristics are there, which is useful for all kinds of purposes, different kinds of purposes in your life. And that is generality. Then another issue, I'm just discussing the important things about cognitive psychology. Validity of causal inference versus ecological validity. This is also another important issue currently manifested in cognitive psychology. What is that issue? Whatever we think of as relevant to us in Odisha, is it relevant in Canada? Supposing we found that in Odisha something is relevant for cognitive development of people. Joint family system is more, supposing, the joint family system is a good source for the cognitive development of children. But is it relevant in other cultures where joint family system is not there? Or in other, that is called ecological validity of cognitive issues. Therefore, nowadays cognitive science is growing up another branch which is called cross-cultural psychology. Many of the cognitive research are being carried out by cross-culturally. ଆମ ପାଇଁ ଯଦି ଏଇଟା ଠିକ, ଅନ୍ୟ ଦେଶ ପାଇଁ ସେଇଟା ଠିକ। ମନେକର ଆମର authoritative parenting is found to be one of the most important style of parenting for cognitive development of children. But is it same for all over the world? ଯଦି ସେ କଥା ନୁହେଁ, ଯଦି ଆମ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ସତ, ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ସତ, then it called the causal inference. Parenting ଏଇଆ ହେଲେ ପିଲା ଏଇଆ ଭଲ ପଢିବେ. जोटा कि आम पे सत अन्य अन्य कल्चर से सत न हो पारे जोटा गोटे ट्राइबल पिला पे सत से गोटे अर्बान पिला पे सत न हो पारे जोटा गोटे फीमेल चाइल्ड पे सत से गोटे मेल चाइल्ड पे सत न हो पारे तेणु दैट इज वन ऑफ द वेरी मेजर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ understanding and research in cognitive psychology nowadays कोटा that is ecological validity or cross cultural validity जेटो का मैं कहबो then applied versus basic research this is an important aspect of all sciences first there has to be lot of basic research in order to have its application in fact if you look back into the history of development of cognitive psychology प्राय 1970-80 मसीहा पर्यंत largely the basic research part was being strengthened basic research जदि basic research कौन जे फैन टा बाहर करिछि केमिति बुलुछि that is not the basic research है फैन टे बुली परिबो गोटे मोटर टे एंते हेले बुली हबो एई जो basic fundamental knowledge जे बाहर करिछि he has conducted a basic research and these are all applied research तमे तम चारि पटे जहा देखुछो those are the products of applied research but behind it there is a strong basic research psychology human psychology janiba pai one of the most basic fundamental research is Freudian psychology if you understand the basic tenets of human psychology from Freudian psychology then you will be understand to apply it in many ways to help human being Freudian psychology is being used in many ways to the benefit of the human being then that is basic research and in every science in order to have its growth first there has to be a lot of basic research and then one has to go for application if I mean the basic research to strong we go for application then we have a limited chance of getting good applications positive applications that is why this is also an issue that whether we have sufficient basic research nowadays but cognitive science cognitive psychology has grown up to an extent that we admit that a lot of basic research has been there and we can now apply them to the benefit of human being systems whatever we like then biological versus behavioral methods now research methods quite important should we go for neurological biological approach to understand the cognitive science or should we go how human beings behave and thereby we predict and know that this is what is happening बुझी पारछ ना नहीं आमे ए पिला भलो केमिति मने रखि पारिबो सेति पे आमे तार न्यूरोलॉजिकल स्टडी करी कि तार न्यूरोलॉजिकल एम्पावरमेंट देखि कि जानि बुझे ना एया कले हबो एया खाइया देले हबो एई भलिया ए कले हबो से बैटरी करिबो ना तार बिहेवियर को स्टडी करी कि ताको केमिति ट्रेनिंग देले केमिति कोन कले से भलो मान तार मेमोराइज हबो memory system grow karibo semiti karibo now the question is whether that one is right or this one there is no right and wrong both the methods are right we must grow up biologically जो biological adaptation पे हमर दरकार आमे जानिया को चाहिबु न्यूरोलॉजी न्यूरोसाइकोलॉजी ऑफ ह्यूमन मेमोरी ता संगरे आमे मध्य बिहेवियरल अप्रोच रे केमिति ट्रेनिंग मेथड्स टेक्निक्स डेवलप करिबु so that they can grow these are all kinds of issues now next thing that I am to tell you about now it is sum up of cognitive aspect anything more that you want to know tamar jo unit achi computer metaphor of human cognition gote achi computer metaphor mane a human being is much larger a computer system ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତ ତମେ ଜାଣି ପାରୁଥିବ ଯେ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର ଟା କେତେ to what extent it is intelligent and a human being the brain of the human being consists of 2 billion cells which are as good as the most modern sophisticated computer even advanced computer that you have not seen so a human brain is a much powerful system but it is as much its functioning nowadays ame कहि परिबु जे मनुष्यर मुंड जो काम करूची सेटा कंप्यूटर रो मेटाफोरिक मॉडल कंप्यूटर जेमति काम करूची ताते बहुत भलो अधिका काम करिवो मनुष्यर मुंड किंतु that hardware system that software system same kind of approach same kind of modeling is there that is there अच्छा एई जो सम अप आईडिया जो खाली कहि दउची Certain ideas can keep emerging cognitive psychology regardless of the particular phenomenon we study. Here are what we might consider 5 major ideas. Data in cognitive psychology can be fully understood only in the context of an explanatory theory, but theories are empty without empirical data. Now, ଆମେ ଯଦି sum up କରିବୁ ଆମେ ଯେତେ claim କଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ cognitive psychology has grown up into a very useful and very systematic and powerful science. तथापि ମଧ୍ୟ that we have limitations. We have not yet developed very sound theories, very sophisticated theories. पुଣି develop କରିବାର ଆମର ସମ୍ଭାବନା ରହୁଛି ଯେ ଆମେ ଆହୁରି କିଛି theory develop କରିବୁ so that above all those theories need to be empirically validated. Empirical validation is always a very significant question in behavioral science, because when we want to empirically validate certain things, who is at our hand? It is a human being, and a human being is such a system that we empirically manage kariba. It is a hell of a thing. It is a very difficult thing. तमे जेकोसी जिनिस को empirically manage करि परिबा पई जेतिकी सहज मनुष्य को गोटे empirically manage करिबा difficult. तेणु आमर जहाँ डेवलपमेंटल थ्योरीज रही ह्यूमन बीइंग रो कॉग्निटिव थ्योरीज जहाँ डेवलपमेंटल थ्योरीज रही ताकू जब आम पुणी जानिया चाहिए वी हैव टू गो फॉर फर्दर validation, empirical validation. There has to be further techniques, further methodologies, development of further methodologies in order to prove जे नहीं ये theory ठीक ही इटा या सेटा बारंबार आगु को प्रमाणित होबा दरकार so that we grow up. That is one kind of thing. Cognition is generally adaptive, but not all in all specific instances. This is another important issue or idea that you should bring to your mind about cognitive. Cognition is adaptive. Adaptive in the sense it is so much so adaptive that every 10 years about 0.3% of intelligence is growing among human beings. तमे आमठू जदि 60 वर्ष सान कि 50 वर्ष सान तम इंटेलिजेंस आमठू approximately 3 into 5 15% अधिका. You are 15% more intelligent than us. And that way your cognitive approach is also changing. तेणु that is adaptiveness. ये जो नया सिस्टम आसिला जेते प्रकार कंप्यूटर जो आसिला कंप्यूटर जो adaptation, that is also changing your cognitive setup in mind, and that is adaptive system change कले से अनुसार हमर साइंस बदलिबा दरकार. That is also a great challenge. These are, you can call these as the challenges of cognitive psychology, present challenges of cognitive psychology. तेणु adaptive मनुष्य बदली जाउची, एनवायरनमेंट बदली जाउची, मनुष्यर मानसिकता बदली जाउची, कॉग्निशन बदली जिबार बहुत संभव अछि. तेणु कॉग्निटिव साइंस आमे जहा मनुष्य विषय रे डेवलप करछु दैट हैज टू बी adaptive. And then cognitive processes interact with each other and with non-cognitive processes. How would an important issue? These are many challenges. Cognitive processes within you,
they are not stable and final product. They even change in you. तम मन आज जहाँ अच्छी तुम ज्ञान आज जहाँ अच्छी से ज्ञान काली की नहीं परदिन को नहीं. That is an interaction between all cognitive processes. You read history, you read psychology, you read political science. That is influencing your
system. And केवल cognitive aspect of your mind, all aspects of your mind are interacting. Your cognitive, your motivation, your emotion, your present conditions of life, your environment, changes in your environment. Everything has its continuous impact on your cognitive aspects. Therefore, to address the individual's cognitive requirement, knowledge of cognitive, knowledge about individual cognition, group cognition, society cognition, we must have this in mind that there is it's an interactive process, changing process. And these are all issues and challenges, and cognitive aspect is over. Now, Do you have any question to ask anybody about cognitive psychology? कार किसी क्वेश्चन पचारिबार अछि? Maybe it is Rajeshwari. And Rajesh mate dekha hochi, probably it is Rajeshwari. नहीं, कार किसी पचारिबार नहीं? मोनालिसा
Yes, sir.
बुझी हला जा कहली बुझी हला?
Yes, sir.
आउ किए न बुझी पारिलो? हिमानी मु बेसिकली या कहली कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी कौन ता भितरे वर्तमान कौन कौन ब्रांचेस बा फील्ड ऑफ स्टडी रहउची को जिनस कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी रे वर्तमान इंक्लूडेड एज ए साइंस. इट इज अ वेरी इंपोर्टेंट डेवलपमेंट इन साइकोलॉजी. इट्स ए ब्रांच ऑफ साइकोलॉजी. मोस्ट you can say it is the most important branch of psychology dealing with human cognition, and it has certain issues, challenges. एतिकी मु कहली तुमको कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी विषय रे जहा तुम कोर्स रे अछि. तापर तमरा आसुची इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोसेसिंग, लर्निंग एंड मेमोरी. मु तुम खाली केते गुडे जिंस खाली माने ये रे कहि दोची. मेमोरी, memory is a system of a processing, and you receive information, you pass on those information to your system, the system processes it, encodes it, and finally preserves it in your system to help you in future requirement. वर्तमान जहाँ घटिला से तुम मन भितर को गला, मन भितर जाइकरी कोठी गोटे केमिति हेकरी रहिला, भविष्य रे जतबे सेही जिंसर कोनसी आवश्यकता आसिला तम पई तमे ताको पुणी काढिकरी आनी व्यवहार कर. That is what is your kind of memory, and it passes on sensory memory, short-term memory, long-term memory. This is a very simple mechanism. First is your sensory memory. What is that sensory memory? When you receive information by your eye, nose, ear, whatever sense organs. That you have been gifted by sense organs, and those sense organs are responsible to bring information into your system from the environment. And you can call it sensory register. And in the sensory register, it's a very constructive process. ଯେମିତି ତମେ ରୋଷେଇ କରୁଛ is a constructive process, doing certain things before and after. ସେମିତି memory processing is a very constructive process. It's a highly systematic and constructive process in your system. Information comes to your sensory memory. It lies there for very brief time, for brief seconds, fractions of seconds. किसी समय पे हुए. And during that time, there is some kind of selection. Selection means you immediately screen out which is relevant, which is not relevant, which is important, which is not important. Whatever is important to you, you send them to the next house. That is short-term memory. And whatever is not important to you is destroyed then and there. Those stimulation, those information, those are lost there, and you will never be able to get them in the future. Those are lost and permanently lost. And forgetting also happens in sensory memory, and it happens permanently. There is no recovery kind of thing. Then it goes to short-term store, and short-term store is called the active part of your memory system. It is the working house of your memory. तमर मेमोरी रे जो कांड कारखाना जहा काम होची सबु काम short-term store रे होची. And short-term store is preparing the final product by a process of construct. प्रथमे आगो एताको एनर्जी की चेंज करे. काई ट्रांसडक्शन काई ना जो एनर्जी तमे देखि कि जो जिंस आछि तार द एनर्जी काइंड ऑफ एनर्जी दैट यू आर गेटिंग इज नॉट सेम जोटा सुनी कि आछि. तमरा visual information is not similar kind of energy that of auditory information. The energy system is different. But when it comes to certain memory, the energy system has to be changed, and it has to be uniform, because one uniform memory has to go to the long-term memory for storage. And that work is called transduction. That work is done in the short-term memory first. And then there are a lot of works. organization, association, elaboration, lot of kind of thing happen there in order to make it convincing, easy, organized. Kind long term memory ke thore पढ़ी गले से सजड़ा सजड़ी ହେଇକରି ଯଦି ଯାଇ ସେଠି ନ ରହିଲା, then you will be confused in using them. पढ़ी पढ़ी करी जाइଛ, but it has not been appropriately placed, appropriately organized in your long term memory. परीक्षा हल्ले गला बेलको किछि मने पडुनी, because the organizational principles of short term memory has not been appropriately done. So this is called working memory. You can imagine your store and kitchen. Store रे जदि ग्रोसरी आड़ी करी ठीक जगह रे ठीक जिंस ठीक डबारे न रखिलो, ताकू नै करी एपर सेप्ट करी थोई देलो, जेतले रोसई करूथिबो चुली जळुथिबो तमे जिंस खोजि करी पाइबो. That is the kind of thing. And short-term memory store, the information lies about 1 minute, approximately 30 seconds to 1 minute. You are there in your short-term memory store, and then it goes to long-term memory. After things are prepared, things get product as a product, final product, certain product, then it goes to long-term memory, and it is kept there. Short-term memory has a very limited store. काम सरिले से जिनस सफा हवा दरकार. शॉर्ट टर्म मेमोरी सफा ले पुन नुआ जिनस आसला, बट लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी has an unlimited store. जिते इंफॉर्मेशन दियो जहां दियो सजड़ा सजड़ी करी जदि रखिलो, then you will get it in your time of requirement. And when you require, another important thing you must know, when you require, you cannot directly use it from the short term store. ଯେମିତି store ରୋଷେଇର store room ରେ ତମେ ସିଧା ସଳଖ ଖାଇ ଦେଇ ପାରିବନି, you have to bring it to the kitchenette in order to prepare food for you. ସେମିତି long term memory you have to bring back. short term memory ରେ ଯୋଉ ରୁହେ message material, ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ rehearsal ହେଇକରି ଯେତିକି ସମୟ ଲାଗିବ କେମିତି କାମ ସରିବ, that is called rehearsal mechanism short term memory. But long term memory ରୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ back କରେଇବ short term memory କି, you can use your information only from the desk of short term memory, not from long term memory. You cannot use it directly, you have to bring it back to your short term memory, and that is called retrieval. Sometimes it so happens that there is a thing in the long term memory, but you are not able to bring it to a short term memory, so that you are not able to recover. परीक्षा बेले तमे देखिथबो तमे मने माने जानिचो पढिचो सब होइछ कि मने पडुनी. That is because you are not able to get it back from the long term memory to your short term memory. That is precisely the memory process: sensory memory, short term memory, long term memory. And then I will have to discuss just two models of processing. That is important ଜିନିଷ. Neuropsychology is a part of your syllabus, but these are all very clear how your different cognitive processing are being carried out in different parts of the brain. Brain has distribution function. Your brain is just, every part of your brain is not doing the same thing. That is different. There is a kind of knowledge theory called localization of brain function. तमर मुंडे विभिन्न जगार विभिन्न काम हो, सबु काम गोटे जगार होनी बा सबु काम गोटे जगह करि पारेनी नो. Theory of equipotentiality कहूची every part of your brain is equally potential, but they are assigned. जेमती गोटे ग्रुप रे काम होला बेले पांचटा लोकन को पांचटा अलग अलग काम दिया होची, सेमती your brain is being assigned for different purposes. And the neuropsychology explains, ये जो neuropsychology part अछि तमर केम the brain लो को part कौन function करूची in order to help you learn, help you remember, help you perceive. Everything is being controlled. That is the ultimate center of the the motherboard, but the hardware kit जोटा. तेणु सेटा फाइनल everything is being carried out. तेणु किए को पार्ट करूची, किए को फंक्शन करूची, that will read. Actually तमे पढ़ी करी मते पचरिबा कथा मु खाली बेसिक आइडियाज दे दोची. आउ कोन अछि नेक्स्ट इज आउ दीटा जिंसन खाली कहि दोची. गोटे एप्लिकेशन सेफ्रिन मॉडल ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोसेसिंग जोटा मु बुझेई केमिति एक्सटर्नल जाउची, केमिति सेंसरी मेमोरी के जाउची, कोन होउची, all those kind of things. आउ जदि कौन को माने वर्तमान तुम काम है यही जो पार्ट 1 टा एटा को पढ़ी दबो जदि किछि तुमर आवश्यक रहिला पचारिबा पई यू कैन आस्क मी टुमारो अच्छा one thing I will be discussing with you tomorrow I am supposed to take a covid vaccine जदि मते काली किछि असुविधा लागिला maybe it will not be possible for me to share the class tomorrow নহলে ক্লাস হবো তেমন this time I will communicate you through your মানে authorities in the Ramsar University if possible I will take if not possible I will not be able to take but for you the information is that you be alert at this time I don't think anything will go happen anything wrong I will be taking the class but post if something wrong happens something temperature like that then we will discuss anything you want to share for 1 minute 2 minutes कार कुछ कहिबार
सर आई हैव अ डाउट
हां यस
सर आपण जो कहले लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी रे फॉर इनफिनाइट पीरियड मेमोरी कैन बी सेव्ड सो बट शॉर्ट टर्म रे 1 मिनिट जे मैक्सिमम सेव हे परियो तापर डिलीट
1 minute जो मैक्सिमम सेव हे पारे बट बाय यू कोन रिहर्सल यू कैन सेव रिहर्सल मेंटेन करिवो रिहर्स कर ताको मेंटेन कर आ किछि समय अधिकार रखा जाई पारे बट इट कैन नॉट बी परमानेंट
सो सर माय क्वेश्चन इज लॉन्ग टर्म रो हमें इरेज करि परिबा
लॉन्ग टर्म रो इरेज करि परिबा माने इट रिक्वायर्स काइंड ऑफ कोन इंटरवीनिंग द लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी प्रोसेस बाय फिजिकल सिस्टम तमरो जदी तमरो ब्रेन एक्सीडेंट हे गला तमरो जदी लॉन्ग टर्म सिस्टम तक तार न्यूरोलॉजिकल सिस्टम तक जदी अफेक्ट कराबो कि मेडिसिनल कोन अफेक्ट कराबो कि माने some kind of external imposition automatically it will not go out
सर जेमिति हमें सपोज एग्जाम पई प्रिपेयर करछु किछि गोटे कंटेंट हमें रिवाइज करी कि फिर एग्जाम रे प्रोड्यूस करछु सपोज फॉर 2 ईयर कोर्स हमें गोटे करी कि तो से जो कंटेंट शॉर्ट टर्म रे सेव होछि ना लॉन्ग टर्म रे सेव होछि
शॉर्ट टर्म रे किछि माने सेव हुए नहीं
सेटा लॉन्ग टर्म रे होछि बट हमें रिट्रीव करछु यूजिंग द शॉर्ट टर्म
हां शॉर्ट टर्म तो कहा जे हाउस ऑफ वर्किंग मेमोरी
ओके
लॉन्ग टर्म रे जहां अछि तमे ताकू शॉर्ट टर्म को आनिबो व्हेन यू वांट टू यूज इट यू हैव टू bring it back to the short term memory directly it cannot help you to be to act on long term memory and that process is called retrieval
एपर्यंत हमें ताले जहां भी एपर्यंत हमें जहां भी ताले पढिचू कि सिखिचू सब ताले हमर लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी रे
सब from the very beginning of your birth till today everything is there in your long term memory but there is forgetting पढ़िबो तमे जानिबो there is decay गोटे जिनिस क्यूरियस डिके कहूची जे गोटे जिनिस बहुत दिन धरि कि पड़ी रहिला आ तार व्यवहार हैला नहीं से धूली जमी कर खराब हे you cannot call it a loss but it will not work for them because
so pore hame jodi retrieve kariya ko chahibo sei memory ta au retrieve kari pariboni dale
ha retrieve kariyo by there are certain different mechanisms by which you can also retrieve those kind of things that have been ଆମେ ସତ୍ୟ ସେ ପଢେଇଛି ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଇ ପାରିବନି ତାର କ୍ୱାଲିଟି ଖରାପ ହେଇଯିବ ଆଉ ମାନେ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଲଙ୍ଗ ଟର୍ମ ମେମୋରି ରହିଛି ଆମର ଫରଗେଟିଂ ଥିଓରି ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଢିବ ତମେ ଜାଣିବ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଥିଓରି ଗୋଟେ କହୁଛି ଥିଓରି ଅଫ ଡିସୟୁଜ ଅର ଡିକେ ଡିସୟୁଜ ମାନେ ୟୁଜ ହେଲାନି ଫର ଏ ଲଙ୍ଗ ଟାଇମ ସେ ମେମୋରି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସିବ ମନେ ପଡିବ ନାହିଁ କାହିଁକି ତାକୁ ରିଟ୍ରାଇଭ୍ କରିପାରିବନି it is there but you will not be able to retrieve the quality of memory is not that ଯେମିତି ପୁରୁଣା ରେକର୍ଡ ବହୁତ ଦିନର ପୁରୁଣା ରେକର୍ଡ ବଜେଇଲେ ସେ ଗୀତ ଆଉ ଭଲ ଶୁଭେନି କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୀତ ତା ଦେହରେ ପଳେଇ ଯିବନି ଆଉ ସମସ୍ତଠୁ ବଡ ମେକାନିଜମ ହେଲା ମାନେ ଆମେ ରିଟ୍ରାଇଭାଲ ଟା ପାଇଁ ଯୋଉ ମେକାନିଜମ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଥିଓରି ଅଛି ଆମେ ତ କହୁଛୁ ଇଣ୍ଟରଫିୟରେନ୍ସ ଥିଓରି ଅଫ ଫରଗେଟିଂ କେମିତି ରିଟ୍ରାଇଭାଲ କୁ ସେ ବ୍ଲକ୍ କରେ ରିଟ୍ରାଇଭାଲ ହେଉଛି ଲଙ୍ଗ ଟର୍ମ ରୁ ସର୍ଟ ଟର୍ମ କୁ ଆଣିବା ସେଇଗୁଡାକ ଫେଲିୟର ଯୋଗୁଁ ଆମର ଯାହା ମେମୋରି ଲସ୍ ମେମୋରି ଫେଲିୟର
Okay.
Any other question?
No, sir. Thank you.
No. Should we conclude the class? ଆଉ କାହାର କିଛି ପଚାରିବାର ଅଛି? ହିମାନି ଯାହା ନାଁ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ମୁଁ ପଚାରୁଛି।
मेमोरी फेल्युअर कौन ପାଇଁ ହୁଏ କହିଲେ?
मेमोरी फेल्युअर कौन ପାଇଁ हुए? फॉरगेटिंग. Memory failure is also, you can call it forgetting. Forgetting, there are different reasons, different theories of forgetting. One of the theory is disuse, atrophy through disuse. Atrophy माने जदि कोनोसी मेमोरी टाको हमें for a long time we are not going to use it, से पड़ी पड़ी रहिला हमरो long term रे से atrophied हो जाए, नष्ट हो जाए. But it is not a loss. Short term memory रे रुहे, there is no whatever things are over, when things are over, short term memory is get माने clean. तमे जेमती रोषेई जगाटा को भाबुछ सब रोषेई बास सरला परे सफा सफी हेकि सब फिंगा हे गला, that is what is short term memory store. Your permanent memory store is your long term memory, LTM. सेठी सब जिनिस अछि. It is माने how you bring it back, से टेक्नोलॉजी ही इंपोर्टेंट. जहा को हम कहू रिट्राइवल मेकानिजम्स. लॉन्ग टर्म रु शॉर्ट टर्म को आनिले ही से कैमेरा लागिबो. That is there. Anyway, but tomorrow तमर जदि किछि पचरिबार अछि फास्ट तम पाखे बही सब पहुंचाइ तो निश्चय.
Yes, sir.
पहुंचनी?
Yes, sir.
yes sir पहुंची जाई सर.
जदि बही रे कोनोसी स्पेसिफिक जिनिस तमे आज राति रे देखि दबो, जदि बही रे किछि स्पेसिफिक जिनिस तमर बुझिबार अछि, ए पार्ट 1 काली मो पार्ट 2 पढै, मोस्ट पॉसिबली पढै. जदि बुझिबार अछि टुमारो यू आस्क 5 minutes 10 minutes I will devote. कारण आज जेहेतु आरंभ होला तम प्रिपेयर्ड हेनो, काली की से गुडा तो 5 मिनिट ए विषय कहइबो जा दरकार, देन वी विल गो टू द नेक्स्ट बुक 2. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Close.
thank you sir.
Thank you, sir.